Okay, in today's video we're going to be looking at dealing with this. We've got obscure angles, we need to talk about which beads to use, we're going to talk about bonding to make sure it's flat, talk about getting this line straight. We've got loads of tips in today's videos, talking about plastering onto plasterboard, speed skims, we've got it all. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be working with this area here. Before I start, I've got a stinking cold. So you'll be seeing these bad boys come out a lot. Strepsils, you know this. So I'll be sucking on them. If you hear me sucking along, that's what it is. So, like I said, we've got a few angles here. So today we're going to talk about which beads to use on this. But the first thing we're going to discuss is scrim tape. And I'm going to be bonding this area. I'm going to be building it out. So I don't know if you can see, but this lip doesn't meet with the plasterboard. I've not actually boarded this, it was a customer, but to be fair, that wasn't his fault. The chippies have left this room in a bit of a state, to be fair. So the person who's boarded this has done a very good job, I must admit. But we need to build this out so it's flat and straight with the rest of this area of board. So what I'm going to do is scrim tape this section here, scrim tape these, but always put the scrim tape on before you do any bonding. This means it's going to be strengthened by the bonding on top, so not only will the bond hold it in place, but it'll actually strengthen it as a product. And not only that, but if you put bonding, British Gypsum bonding onto plasterboard and then you try and put scrim tape over it, it's a nightmare to deal with. So always do your scrim tape first. So I'm going to scrim this room out and then happy days after that. I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, but you want to scrim tape every section. So even this section where this bit of board is going to be bonded out, between this section, you want to put scrim tape there as well. You just want to avoid any crackage. It is going to have some beads on here, but still, it's worth doing. Just scrim tape the whole area. Alright, so the biggest part of this job is the prep. We've got the scrim tape on, but the major way to get this job right is to make sure that it's prepared correctly. So you get a lot of plasterers probably think, you know, you get that with a skim or you lose that with a scrim tape. The biggest part of plastering is all in your preparation. So what we're going to do is going to mix a big bag of bonding. For anyone who doesn't know, that's a backing plaster. That's what you use to build out any areas that are over 5mm. The stuff you can't get with a multi-finish. And quick word, anything on plasterboard you should always use British Gypsum bonding. Never use hardwall. Hardwall is designed for masonry backgrounds like brick, block, anything that's high suction, that's to do, and that's used only for hardwall. Anything on a backing plaster like this, plasterboard, existing walls that have already been plastered, anything like that, you need to use British Gypsum bonding. So we're going to get a mix on. And we're going to fill out these areas that need building out. And again, it's the cowboys who decide they'll get that with a skim. If you walk into a job, you see anything that's more than 10mm, you think, I'll get that with a skim. Don't do that. Spend time, make sure you prep the job correctly, because that's where your work will come out a lot better than these cowboys who run in and rush it. Charge the job, price it right, spend a bit of time where you can get your backing plaster on, you can get everything prepped correctly, and that way your job will come out 100%. So that's another bit of advice for you there. Always give yourself more time than it's worth. Charge a bit more and you'll get the job done a lot better. So I'm going to mix some bonding. I'm going to get it going. So here it is, British Gypsum bonding for low to medium suction and smooth backgrounds. And then we've got these Strepsils. Keep us going. I'm just going to mix a bit in this little bucket. Easy peasy, mix it up. And then we're going to throw it in all these areas here that need filling. So let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, the bonding's mixed up. We're ready to go. And then one thing I will say is, when you are dealing with plasterboard and scrim tape, this stuff will fall off. So when you're using bonding, make sure you push it in hard, really push it into the gaps, and that way the bonding's going to go right into the, just fill any voids that are there, it's going to fill right into there. So when you're doing it, push, see a bit's already fell off. Push it in first, just over the scrim tape. Just make sure that scrim's covered, because that's why it will fall off. After that it should be alright. So fill that in. Fill that in first. And then we want to start levelling that area off. Which is, we'll just start filling it. So what we want to do is we want to taper this to the board, and we want to fill it so it tapers into the existing there. So get a nice thickness of bonding along the edge, and then using the length of your trowel that almost acts like a straight edge, where we're going to tape it into the background there. You can see it's going from thick to nothing. And that way when we come to plastering it, we're going to get a happy medium. And when it comes to doing it, it should be straight. It'll be straight to the eye at least. And that's the best way you taper it in. Now I'm going to do the same on this side. Fill it in. And trowel it off. Clean any edges as you go as well. Just going to make it easier for when we stick the beads on. Another thing is, they've got tapered boards here. So the tapered boards, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically where the board, instead of coming flat, it has a little taper, hence the name. What we're going to do is, because we've got a bit of bonding, just make it easy for yourself. Fill it in now. Like I said, anything you can do at the beginning stages to make the job easier is worth doing. So take your bonding. What you do is, length your trowel, fill in the gaps. And then when you're doing it, keep an open trowel. That means it's almost, if it's 90 degrees, you've got a better chance of it being straight. And anything as well, I've got a few gaps here, use your bonding to fill it in. We're basically just making the job easier for ourselves. Anything you can prepare now, it's going to be a lot better when it comes to future stages. Same here, taper boards. Anywhere else. And then just keep going. So there's gaps around, there's gaps at the top, there's gaps up there. We're just going to fill in every area. Look, we've even got gaps here, running up the plaster, gaps along, we've got gaps at the top, a big gap up there. Just get your bonding, fill everything in, fill the tapes, and it'll just make your life a lot easier when it comes to skimming. So I've got a section here where the slope meets the existing wall, so I've packed it with bonding, but what we're going to actually use on this is a straight edge. This is a speed skim. I'm sure you've seen this watching any of my videos before. Brilliant piece of kit. This is 1.2 meters. What you want to do is pack it out. I'm going to try it one-handed because I'm filming. Not too bad. And then you want to get that line as best you can with the bonding. So you want to fill it in again. If that wasn't enough, fill it in where you can. Add a bit on. And what we're going to do is just try and get that line decent enough. So we filled it. Get your straight edge. Feather edge ideally, that would be the ideal option. So now what we have is we have a straighter line than when we started. And then when we come to skim, we have something to work with. So again, what we're doing is just getting all the prep done now. Straightening areas up. Making sure everything is good to go. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Work on what's there. So we've got the line, I'm just going to clean up the gaps. There we go, we've got a better angle than we were. So when we can run, when we can skim, we can run the string line and start working on it. Again, clean everything back. When we add our beads, we don't really want to be messing about. So you can see there's quite a lot of bonding going on here. But again, it's just going to make our life easier because we've got the mix. It's just going to help us get through it when it comes to doing the skimming. Another quick tip is when you've got a scaling leading to a wall, you always want to fill in the gaps. Because what will happen, it'll crack otherwise. So you can see at the top there, always fill in that join with a bit of bonding because it will crack otherwise. No matter how much scrim tape you put on it. And look, before you know it, the whole place is covered. That needed some filling out because it's got actually a bit of a ridge there which I didn't notice, and I wouldn't have noticed if it didn't start bonding, so that would have been a pain coming skimming. So as you can see, there's a lot of bonding on the walls, a lot of work gone into it, but it makes it so much easier when it comes to the finish. So it's definitely worth the time. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a slope ceiling. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. First, you've got to pack it out with some bonding. So obviously where the angles meet, you can't just do that with multi-finish. With scrim tape underneath, so I've got a scrim tape there. Now what you want to do is you want to start forming the curve with the bonding. So you put it on, and you just follow it round. Now there is a knack to this, and you want to keep the line the same. But you get a big chunk of bonding, and you naturally create the curve. But you want to follow that line that you've set yourself. You want to follow it. Really, you want to have an end and start point. And you want to keep the curve the same. You can see what we're doing is forming the curve. Don't want it too steep because when it comes to putting the skim finish, it'll just be hard work. So you want a gradual curve. And you just work it with the trowel. Following the line you've set yourself. And work it on the other side as well. So that's it applied. Get rid of your plaster. You want to smooth it off. Now to make sure we've got a straight level line, what we're going to use again is the Oxbead skim. You can use a feather edge, but the beauty of this, because it's got a bit of flex, it's brilliant for making them curves. So if you have got a speed skim, you want to do any curves using slope sealant, anything, these are brilliant because it just follows the trend around. So get it from the line you want to start at and then gently curve it in. And it really does make a massive difference. And just follow the radius round. So now, take a bit off. You might have done. I'm going to clean that back. Just do it one more time. And then maybe go the other way as well. There we go. Got a nice gradual radius, and the straight edge will make sure it's nice and straight. Brilliant. Let's crack on. It's the best thing when you're working in a house when no one's there. Make yourself a brew whenever you want. Keep yourself busy, and it's quiet. Don't even have the radio on. It's lovely. So it's always nice to be alone sometimes on a job, innit? Right. Now I've got the thing. We've got it all bonded out, and now. What we're going to do is going to put my brew down, put that down, deal with the angles. So, I'm going to quickly talk you through it. Anything that's not a 90-degree angle, I always recommend you use stop bead for. That's because if you don't have a stop bead, you're going to try and bend the corner bead into that angle. It's not going to work. Don't know if you can actually see the angle there. I don't know if it's right. But basically, it's about a 40 degree. So what we're going to do is going to stick stop beads to this front edge of the plasterboard, leave enough of a gap, enough of a ledge so when we plaster into it, it can plaster nicely into the stop bead, and that way we've got a nice finish running all the way down. But you can see how much work has gone into this room before any skimming's been done, which shows sometimes the customer won't see any of this prep, but this is why you've always got to be a bit vigilant with your pricing and not undercut yourself, because if you miss this out, this is going to be a nightmare to deal with. So I'm going to show you how to stick these stop beads. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top, obviously to the bottom. I'll do that without the video, and I'm going to show you how to stick them. So let's go. Okay, for anyone who don't know, this is a stop bead. It's basically a bead with just one wing. So it hasn't got a return, it's just one ring running down. And this way, it's easier to deal with angles like this because we haven't got two sides to worry about. This particular stop bead is made from catnip. Anyone who's not used this, these are the best stop beads going. They're solid, they don't buckle, and they're brilliant to work with. So if anyone's going to use stop beads, I recommend these. And you've probably seen this lots of times, but the way I fix my corner beads is with a staple gun. Oh god, I've got bonding all over it, look at that. Whew. Anyway, a staple gun. So what you do is just simply run it in place, put it where you want it. These are always tricky because the weight's going to fall down on itself, so you start from the top. But what you want is you want about 2mm overhang, so then when you put the plaster in, it's going to hold. So just fire some in, and you adjust it as you go to make sure. I'm feeling with my finger on this side to make sure I've got a rough 2mm gap. You don't want it too far out, otherwise you'll have a bend in the plaster. Yeah, you don't want it too far in because you won't reach the bead. So you want about 2mm, and you're just adjusting as you go. You're just aiming to shoot into the holes of the bead. And the reason I use staples, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to just pull it out, where if I clout them in, you'll struggle to get away with it. So, keep going, still touching my finger, make sure I've got enough of a gap. That one didn't take. Keep going. Adjusting it as you go. Good thing about the beads, are very flexible. So, the one on this side. And then I'll run up now and fill the gaps on this side too. Just check it all the way up. That's good. This top bit could come out a little bit actually. See? I need to adjust it, pull the staple out. Easy. That's why it's so much better using staples with stop beads. Right, I'm happy where that is now. I'm just going to fire a load of staples in. Make sure it's solid. And then that's a lot of the prep done for this. Right, that's it. The walls are prepped, the beads are on, the bonding's on, everything's drying, ready to start plastering. So that's this video. I hope you enjoyed it, showing you how to prepare your walls for plastering. And to find out how we do the actual plastering, where I put the finished plaster on, sign up to our welcome course. The link's below this video will show you how to apply the plaster, how to get your walls flat, how to plaster ceilings, and everything in between. So if you want to learn the full process to plastering, please sign up using the link below. I'm sure you won't regret it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.